the 29th of 2025, and I am pretty much at the house. I'm not doing anything. Um, Taking a bath. I am still awake. I'm a little tired, but I'm staying awake for a reason. So tonight I think I'm going to talk about core. It's been a while since I did a green live about core. Core is one of my visions that God gave me. And it came from when I was homeless from 2020 to 2025. I was homeless for 5 years. And I have not had a place to stay of my own since I was married in 2020, and that address was 249 Greenwood Lane, apartment 57. So I did have a room for rent in which I wasn't homeless anymore, and that was just a room in a house with a bunch of different scouts. So what I want to talk about right now is CORE. So CORE is CORE, and it stands for Care, Opportunity, Restoration, and Involvement. What CORE is it is a national homeless plan that prevents homelessness, and it puts resources at the levels or at the areas in which people are likely to become homeless. So basically, it puts resources and preventative measures in place so that we can abolish homelessness altogether. I do believe that every state should be a right to shelter state. So with that being said, CORE is a national plan, but it also has city and state ordinances that I want to be attached so that basically laws can change, giving people a right to shelter, and then providing shelter for people through court systems, through churches, through hospitals, through mental health facilities, through any possible place where people are likely to appear that are experiencing a state of homelessness. I also want to work with employers, employers like Walmart, Amazon, places where people are struggling to pay their bills, or struggling to afford rent. I want to have resources there that address homelessness, address poverty levels, and address just the day-to-day needs of people, to kind of be a pillar in the resource in the community, so that people can have help when they need it. So you don't have to be homeless to have experienced the benefits of CORE. So CORE is a tiny home community that is very different than anything that people have seen. I came up with it 3 years ago in California. I drew the tiny home. I drew the communities. The communities are upscale, tiny home communities with, they have names that are purpose driven. They have levels 1 through 4 that are for entry, re-entry, those that are just coming out of prisons, out of rehabs. We have level 1 that is pretty much people with no barriers, no issues, no problems returning to the workforce. We have level 2 that may be people with a few barriers, very minor, such as, slight mental health disability, or something that they require a little bit of assistance but can still live alone. Level 3 is going to be those people that have a more severe disability and may or have trouble and needing a little bit more assistance and care. And then level 4 is going to be these people can live alone but are disabled and can either cannot work or need some type of care. So level 4, this is a different type of community. It's not quite on the level of being a nursing home, but there is skilled aid by to just still give them a quality of life, and to still provide meals and services, etc. So I came up with CORE when I was in California. I had no place to live, and I was on the streets of California, and I had nowhere to go. And so I knew, as a psychology student, I had 78 credits of psychology under my belt. And so I read in school that whenever you're in a crisis such as that, then you're supposed to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital every night, and I stayed in the hospital until the morning when the bus came, and then I would go on about life. It was extremely difficult because being homeless, it's very tough to get out of the situation once you're in it. Thank God I had an ID and social security card and that sort of thing, so I wasn't in the crisis as most people are, with either an expired identification or no identification at all. So I fortunately had identification. I had more than the most that was in that situation. I had a phone. I was able to move around, but I was still, you're at an impasse when you don't have an address. So you don't have an address for mail, you don't have an address for a job, you don't have an address for someone to reach out, and so that is a barrier. So what I did was I became very involved and intrigued with being homeless, and I was able to look at all the myths and address them one by one, considering, what is the reason that people are really homeless. And most of the time, people believe that if you're homeless, well, you must be on drugs, or you must be on alcohol, or you must be crazy, or you must want to be out there, or you must have a serious mental health disorder, or you're running from the law, or you're a prostitute, or you're a male prostitute. It is so many different things, but all of those things are not necessarily true. I was not on drugs, not running from the law, not on alcohol, not a prostitute, and definitely did not have a mental health disorder. I was homeless because of a federal complaint that I filed, and they sabotaged my business to keep me from selling furniture because they were making it seem to others as if I was selling drugs. And so, but it was really, they were not letting me work because of the complaint. And that's what I was doing when my husband and I separated. And so I had been out of the workforce since 2012 when we got married. So I didn't have any, I had skills and I was smart, but I didn't have any experience. So the only thing I was doing was working for myself, and that became hard. So I started working for Instacart, and then I started doing a little, I started DoorDash, and then Instacart, and then Uber Eats, and then once all of that fell apart, then I was pretty much just on with nothing to do. And I definitely wasn't going to go back into selling furniture after it was such a major issue around it. So going back to CORE, I was left without a job. So, going back to being homeless, I was without a job, without a place to go. I didn't have anything. So I got into seeing what it was like, and going through that sober with no drugs. There's no drugs involved. There's no alcohol. There's nothing to numb the pain, and nothing to numb the reality of you are outside. It is at night. Everyone has went in. They have closed their doors. The city is closed, and you're outside. What do you do? And then when there is an ordinance to say that you can't be homeless, then what do you do in that situation? Where do you go? When there's nowhere to go, nothing for you to do, what is the solution? So what I did was I went to the hospitals. I stayed there when they allowed me. I left at 4 or 5 in the morning when the buses started to run, and then I went on with life, as I said. But all along, I would sit in the hospitals at night, and I would watch until I went to sleep, and I would watch people come in that had mental health disorders. I would watch people come in that was homeless, that was drunk, that was hungry, that was dirty. And I got a chance to see what it was like to be in the emergency room, but to be there for a different reason, and to watch people interact with the people that was homeless, to see how they were treated, to see how doctors didn't care about them, how they spoke about their medical records in the front of anybody, how they didn't give them privacy, how they didn't get private rooms, how they didn't get care. They didn't any longer get treated like humans. They were treated like animals. And I remember writing what the abuse was like, and documenting this, and talking to doctors whenever I could, to see their viewpoints on what I saw. So I came up with this plan, and CORE I want to start it to combat a lot of issues that are in the community, but primarily is to address homelessness and the lack of education. And it's also to bridge the gap between the community and those that are in need of help. I want for communities to care, and to have a law that says that we care, and to make it easy, because I also got a chance to see that when these people are homeless and they don't have a place to go, they become destructive. In California, I watched them tear up stuff, and poop on the street, and pee all over places, and do things out of aggravation and frustration for what they were experiencing. So what CORE does is CORE takes each state. I want to begin with working about 4 or 5 states at a time. And what CORE does is CORE, for example, I want to start in the southern regions, and so we get a game plan. I already have the diagram, the model of what I want the homes to look like. They are custom tiny homes. I have the design. I have the furniture design. I want them to be made like with trundle beds, so that they come in and out of the wall. I have an avocado mattress that I want to have made, that cannot be torn. I want it to have a cooling feature to it, but also it comes in. Well, I guess that's not important, but the furniture design in there, I want it to be made in the units, so that I'm not buying sofas all day, and I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing that. I want to have this made, those designs, and they're a part of the model. They're a part of the design that I created. They're called smart furnishings that go into the smart tiny home. It's not a traditional tiny home, it's a smart home. So it's equipped with some features of a scenic shower. It's equipped with a pad that comes inside of the wall. It comes with, and that's for them to do counseling, appointments, to reach out for services, on call. It is for them to, if they have medical needs, they're addressed there. It's also for them to move into the units, because I won't have a traditional leasing agent. These tiny homes will be moved into electronically, and they will have an electronic access code, and then they will be gated 24/7, 7 days a week, and then they will have an armed guard at the gate that lets you in, so you can move in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. and someone will follow up with you either in person or on the pad. Um, it has a feature, they can reach you, you can reach someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Um, the community is built to reduce the need of a lot of outside transportation. Although I want to have a fleet of Mercedes vans, I want to also have uh, everything in house. So the community, each community is designed to have anywhere from 100 to 200 tiny homes. There's a roundabout, there is specific homes that are for children. Children are not everywhere, so we keep them safe. Um, we have playgrounds, pools, workout centers. We have monthly um, meetings and events for people to have fun. We have a core buddy system, so we give people friends and accountability partners. We give resources according to the 8 wills of life. So we have financial advisors, counselors, medical, spiritual advisors. Um, we meet all areas of the will of life to make sure that we are addressing the needs of the individual at the core and not just from a financial standpoint. We also provide educational resources, and we offer all of these resources at the clubhouse by appointment or at your leisure. You can have access and work on these skills at home. Each core facility compound will have a thrift store, and I want this thrift store to be a high end donation only by appointment store. So I don't want garbage. So I'm only accepting what I have approved, what I have someone going to pick up. That is a job. Um, so if I have a male or some females to come in that want to do that job, then I'll say, hey, if you got a license, this is our truck. This is what you do 8 to 5. This is what we're looking for. And I'll have a manager or someone over the approvals. And this is what we're accepting. And this is what we're not accepting. And this is what you could pick up. And this is what I don't want you to pick up. Um, and then we can pretty much go from there. So we're taking gently used clothing, but mainly I want to be known for furniture. So it's kind of given me the ability to get both of my um, desires done at one time. So I want to be still in the furniture. And so basically we will pick up sofas, love seats, whatever, beds, mattresses, etc. And we will have them at the thrift store. We will open the thrift store 7 days a week. We can have the people that are not employed, they can work there. And this gives them a job, helps them to develop employable skills and earn money, as well as have a place to live. So from there, we provide meals. We provide pretty much everything they need in the first couple of months. We are pretty much just allowing them to get back to normal without putting a lot of bills and a lot of weight on them. We're just allowing them to get used to having a place to live, coming and going, get back acclimated to bills and having responsibility. And then from there, what we're doing is we're starting to address the needs of that person on a case by case basis. So when they first come into CORE, what we want to do is we want to, everyone has to go have an assessment done at your local hospital. So the hospital will have a division set up, and if not, they'll just go to regular emergency room and they will meet with someone and say, I'm here to be assessed by CORE, for CORE. And so what that person will do, you can also go to your counselor or any mental health facility and tell them that you want to have that done. And they'll come in and do an evaluation, ask you about your background and work, and then basically once they do the assessment, see what medications you are on or not on, they will go ahead and assess you and give you a level of 1 to 4. Once you get that level, then they will go ahead and get you with a counselor or a caseworker. They will call CORE. CORE will complete that assessment with that person over the phone, and then they will give them the community in which they are going to be assigned. So they'll basically say at the end of the call, okay, thank you so much for your time. You have been approved. You will be going to Eagles Point in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And so Eagles Point, when you get there, do you have a ride? Would you like a Uber, or would you like us to come and pick you up? And so basically my intentions is to have that service provided by Uber or by someone, and they will come and pick them up from the hospital. We don't need your belongings. We will take care of you once you get there. But if you have belongings, they're okay. They will have to go with the caseworker to just make sure we're not bringing bed bugs in, etc. All of that. Once we do that, then we're going to automatically move you in electronically. So we give you a code. If you don't need a ride, then you go ahead and go. We'll give you let the guard know that you're on the way, and then give you the access code to get into the unit. And then you can pretty much just move in, and they will be set up with towels, etc., everything that you need, and your instructions, your welcome kit, and everything. And then you will complete all of your registration via that pad once you're in. Then you can have report for breakfast, etc. the next day. So each state is expected to report to me a number. I need a gross number for Atlanta. Let's say if they say, okay, our homeless population is 7,312, then I'm going to divide that up by the community total. So then I would be looking at probably about 70 units, 70 different complexes around the state of Georgia to cover around those 70,000 people if I did about 100 each. Or if I did more, then I would probably be anywhere from 70. I would just go ahead and build 80. And so that's more than reasonable because Atlanta is huge. And so I would probably do 10 in Conyers and 10 and just divide them up and have them all around so that I can hit north, south, east, and west sides of Atlanta. Then when you come down to someone that's not as big, like Augusta, Georgia, well, what am I looking to do there? In Augusta, they may have, we said we have 800 people here that are homeless in dire state, okay? Then we have 300 people at risk of being homeless, okay? So let me go ahead and build 12, and let me just have on average on hand 1,200 units. We could put them all on one place. Let's put it out on maybe Highway 56, or let's do somewhere where they have a lot of land, maybe down near Olive Road. There's a lot of land right there. we could put units on both sides and build it up, and that'll get people to come in that area. So once we do that, then what we're doing is each place is going to be core specific. So, for example, when I came to Bowling Green and I was talking to the Lord about core here, Bowling Green has a drug problem. So, because Bowling Green has a drug problem, what I want to do with core here is bring in a drug plan, a drug, like a, not a rehab, but a drug center. So this brings money to the state and it brings money to the city of Bowling Green. And then I want to have it go through the court. So when offenders of a drug nature are caught or jailed, they are automatically sent over to court. And that way they can avoid the jail time and avoid being sent to prison, but you have to complete core. And so this brings in money and resources. And it's a program, a way to help the person get to the bottom of, what's really the issue. So each state is core specific. Every core is not the same. So you may say, well, they got the same principles, 1, 2, 3, and 4 levels, but they also got core drug rehab, or they got core, it's not rehab, but they got core program for drug offenders, or they got core reentry. They have those specifics. So if that person says, well, I would like to go to this one that you have in Florida, or this one, we would totally help transport them there for them to start their new lives there. Now, CORE is not a program, so there's no completion date. What CORE does, issues with reunification, and you have your children in the system, what CORE does is give you that stability so that you have something to work towards to get your children back, to help you rebuild your life. CORE, we hold your hand at CORE for 3 years, up to 3 years. And after that 3-year period, we try our best to get you prepared for home ownership. Some people won't meet that level, for example, those on a level 4 basis. But those that will meet that criteria, we want them to go ahead and get out there and fly. And so we offer them the opportunity to buy the tiny home that they're in, or we offer to give them money towards their own home based on the savings that they have accrued over that 3-year period. So we go ahead and pretty much get them ready from day one to go ahead and get ready. We have credit repair. We have every possible service that they can possibly need. And in CORE, everything is absolutely free of charge. The only thing we ask of the client is to, as you work after your introductory period, we ask that you give a certain percentage back from your paycheck that goes towards your rent. So they're not paying a full amount of rent ever. Even when they are paying, they are still at a very low rate compared to society. Their average rent at full maturity will be around $400 a month. And this is including everything. They're not paying utilities. They're not paying for any maintenance. They're not paying for landscaping. All of that is configured into the budget. And so what I plan to do to make all of this work is to get donations from the community, but I plan for the thrift stores to bring the money in that takes care of each unit, because the units are paid for. So once I buy them or have them donated from Habitat for Humanity or Amazon or Lowe's or Home Depot, what I plan to do is take those tiny homes, what I don't have donated, I'll buy, or I'll buy at a major discounted rate. Take those tiny homes, build those, I now own them. So the rent that I'm getting for each one, averaging $200 to $400 a month, depending on the size. What I'm doing now is that money goes into that specific community. Okay, so what what I plan to do, those um those bills, or those rental concessions, or rental payments that I receive, go towards those communities. It goes, so if Eagles Rest pulled in, $25,000 for a month in rental payments, or let me say, if it's 400 times 100, so that'll be what, 40,000? Wait, 40 times 10, yeah, that'll be 40,000. I'm sure I'm right. Yeah, it wouldn't be 400. So yeah, 400 times 10 is 4,000. And then times, wait, I think I'm right. 40 times 10 is, 400 times 10 is 4,000. Times 5 is 20. It's 40,000 or 400,000, one of the two. But that money will go into, you're just supposed to add the zeros. So that money will go into the pot. And that is what I pay volunteers. That I want people to volunteer for these positions. But I also, if I don't have volunteers, I want interns. If I can't get it that way, then I may have some staff that is on salary. For example, my guard may be on salary, or on pay. So what I want is that money helps me with my budget. For salaries, it helps me with my meals that I don't have donated, the food that I don't have donated, and it pretty much helps me all the way around the board. What I want to bridge with this, to give me a large cushion for a budget, I want to have CORE linked into FED. FED is FED, and it's a federal nutrition program to put an end to world hunger. And so, in addition to taking care of the homeless, I also believe that people should have an adequate meal plan, regardless of race, color, where you from, how much money you got, etc. So what I want to do is take FED, and I want to put it in place and these people will have meal tickets. So, for example, if you don't want to eat at the center, you are more than welcome to go to Fed, and we offer you 30 meals a month for free. Over that, they're just at very low cost to you. If you're enrolled in CORE, you pay half price. And so CORE is a huge 500,000 square foot cafeteria and building, and kind of like a cold storage where you go and you can eat, you can relax, you can read books, you can have coffee. It's probably everything you can think of to want to eat. And they're open 24 hours a day. See, that's what I want right there. So Fed is, you could be a doctor at the hospital and run over on your break and go to Fed, or you can go wherever. But we offer meals 24/7. And then I want my own ride share service. And so that also provides jobs in the community, because we need for people to, you can order from CORE and have a ride share bring the food over to you, especially if you're in a level 4 unit. So I still want you to be able to eat and have fun and have a quality of life. And so that's what this is all about. And so I definitely want to have, I'll definitely be able to create jobs with that building, that infrastructure in place. CORE. So once we have all of this in place, that helps me maintain that budget of having each place supplied, cared for. And then I also want to have people that come in. So I plan to have quarterly, every 6 months, not quarterly is every 3 months. So quarterly or semi-annually, I plan to have a $10,000 plate dinner. So $10,000 plate dinner. And what this does is, this is a semi-annual charity ball. And so this is A-listers. That's nothing for them to pay $10,000 for a plate of dinner, a plate of food. And they come in and they watch the growth, and people invest, and people pretty much I put on a nice event to have anything from my graduates to people investing in my tiny homes and to my homes that CORE has, and as well as helping me to build all around. I mean, I plan on, and once this starts, my goal is to really work hard to have in 5 years to be all over the world, all over the United States. Because I only want this in the United States, but I plan on 5 years to be all over the United States with CORE. And so what CORE does is, like I said, it pretty much is an end. And then I want to branch out to do CORE curriculum, CORE education, CORE college. And then because I believe that our college rates are egregious, and all of that you're paying for. I owe Strayer University almost 40 all together. I owe for a college education that I haven't even graduated from. I owe almost $60,000, and I don't even have a degree in anything. And I think that is just bullshit. And so for that to be the case, and all I did was get Google links that was shared with somebody living around me, I don't even think that's fair. So I think that there needs to be a break in education, that there needs to be a core college that offers any degree up to, being a lawyer or a doctor, that is, at $750 a quarter, period. You're not per class, a quarter. You can take up to so many classes. And but in return, core college makes you give back to the community. So it's a give and take process. So you can do core college, but core college, we send you to work, to help offset that uh, that break, that credit in education, and we may send you to, so for example, if you wanted to be a, marketing, you want a degree in marketing, well, we will send you over to Spectrum, and you can be an intern for and this gives you a hands-on, this gives you, the ability to have that experience on your resume, and you don't get paid, but you get whatever benefits that Spectrum offers. And this helps the government out because now they're not paying for you on Medicaid, or they're not paying this, and you don't have the marketplace taxes. So what we're doing is we're building several things at one time, but at the same time we're giving you a quality education with experience and benefits. So we're giving you full medical ride, because if you work at Spectrum, I'm sure you get medical insurance. So if you get medical insurance there, you get whatever benefits they offer, but you do not get paid. Your pay is that college tuition for $750, and you're able to take 3 courses. Whereas that is about that's about a $4,300 benefit to you, because when I went to Strayer University to take 2 classes was almost $3,300. So if you're taking 3 and you're only paying $750, well, if I took 3 at Strayer, it would be about $4,500. So you're getting between a 38 and a $4,300 credit, and after they add books and all of that other stuff. So you're getting a decent credit. And so if you break that down into hours, that's how many hours of credit that you're working per whatever. And you could bonus that way, or you don't have to do it that way. And then to make jobs there, I have core rideshare. So these are people that's straight taking you only back and forth to college. And so they're getting a benefit by giving you that ride, but those rides to you are discounted, because I don't think that Uber or rideshare, you should be paying to go to school. That's absurd. And they charge you, and when you got to go to class, that's absurd. So we don't need to be doing that. And so I'm giving credits there. So we have core rideshare that is for meals, and then we have core college that is rideshare college only. You must have your ID. You cannot ride without it, because you have to scan your badge in order to get into the car, in order for the ride to start. So even though someone's behind the wheel, your ride and your fare won't start until you scan your badge. And so it'll validate you as a student, and then you're able to take your ride. If not, after 5 minutes, it will cancel your ride, period. So I created all of this to help the community, to help the world, because I have plans on changing the world. I don't think it is a coincidence that I became homeless and in this situation for God not to have any purpose to it. So CORE is the solution to homelessness based on what happened to me. And then it is also a solution for the community, and it provides uh, resources to obstacles that we face as a whole, as a community. And so I'm very excited about it. I always think about it. I talk about it at least once a week. And here I am talking about it again because I heard T.D. Jakes uh, talk about your dreams, and court is definitely one of mine. So I just got out of the tub. That is what I wanted to think about. I'm going to see if I left out any of this because I want to hear what my plans are and hear out loud what I missed because I was trying to put a budget together for it. As far as what I need, what I don't need, how much this will cost me. So let me get this set up here. This goes over there. This one goes here.